Hey, what's up everybody? Wicked here with yet another review of a classic JRPG. Today we'll be talking about Final Fantasy IV. This review will be based on the Pixel Remaster version of the game. And before you guys dislike the video, click off the video, hear me out. I've never had the chance to play the PSP version or the DS version or any other version because I don't have access to that version of the game. I don't have a PSP or PS Vita to play that version. I don't have a DS to play that version, and I don't really like to emulate games unless I have to. But anyways, guys, with all that being said, let's jump right into this review. Alright, you guys know the drill by now. We always start off with the story, and Final Fantasy IV marks the first time in the series where they really stepped up the story and made an effort to tell a compelling tale, and I gotta say, they did a pretty good job. I won't say it's fantastic or groundbreaking, but I will say for being the first game in the series to attempt a story, it does a really nice job. It has a ton of great moments that generally made me think and be emotional about. It's kind of cliched nowadays to play the story and hear the story, but for that time it was really great. I enjoyed it a lot. Now, while it does some really nice stuff that blew me away, I gotta tell you guys that at the end of the day, it wasn't anything special. It was pretty average. I've seen it many times before in games, but that's also due to the fact that I played this game in 2023 and this game came out, what, over 20 years ago at this point, so that's understandable. And you know, some people might like it and love the story of the game, and I can respect that. For me, it wasn't the greatest. It did not live up to the hype I was hoping it would when I was told about the game. But that's enough about the story. Let's jump into the characters here. And Final Fantasy IV also marks the first time where we got actual characters. Instead of just creating our blank slate characters, we had actual characters we can care for and really enjoy. And for the most part, the characters are really good. I liked every single one of them. But honestly, they didn't get the development and the care I would have liked. Like the main cast, we have Cecil, Kain, Rydia, maybe Tella, you can include him. Other than that, the rest of the characters are either one-off characters or they join for a dungeon or two and then they leave. You don't have a permanent party. And even at the end of the game, you only have a set 5 characters you can use in the final dungeon and stuff. So it's like, I liked the characters and I wanted more of it, but the game decided to introduce a bunch of characters and not a smaller cast, which I would have preferred. Give me 5 to 6 really thought out and well developed characters over the 10 to 12 half-assed characters we got. And to top it off, the characters that join, half of them, like I said, they stay for 1 dungeon or 2 dungeons. After the little story arc is done, they don't come back again. Or, spoilers, they die or they have a sacrifice. And I'm like, wow, I really like this character, but 20 minutes later, he sacrifices himself to save us, which I loved. It was an amazing moment, but if you're gonna do that, make it meaningful. They had a one-off character like that too many times in this game, and I did not really like it. On top of that, the villains were okay. They were nothing special. I don't really remember them too much. It was very, at the end of the day, basic. And again, for the time this game came out, it wasn't bad. But for today, playing it in 2023, where I played it, it was just average. It was not bad. But the main characters, Cecil, Kain, Rydia, they were really nice. The development they got and how they grew as characters was amazing. I loved seeing Cecil grow from a Dark Knight, questioning his morals, to becoming a paladin and essentially saving the world and learning from his mistakes and growing as a person. That was amazing. And then seeing Kain, or Kane, however you want to pronounce it, whatever, go from this obedient knight to being possessed and then finally trying to redeem himself at the end was really awesome. But that's all I can say about the characters, really. Next, we want to talk about the gameplay, of course, the combat. And this is the first game of the series as well that changed from traditional turn-based combat to ATB. If you don't know, ATB, active time battle system, where you and the enemies take your turn at the same time, and whoever has the higher speed, they go first. So while you're picking your moves or your attacks with your characters, the enemies can attack you and interrupt you. And at first, I was very scared and very nervous to get into this system because I didn't know what to expect. I like sticking to my roots, picking my turns for my characters, and then having speed dictate who goes first, and then the enemies go. My turn, then the enemies. So I was kind of nervous seeing both our turn and the enemy's turn at the same time. But after a few hours, I got used to it. And I found the strategy that worked for me. I liked mixing it up. I really enjoyed this system. I still prefer traditional turn-based, but this was really fun. Figuring out what your characters are good at, what they're not so good at, and formulating strategies around that in active time made the game harder in ways, but easy in others, because you knew what the characters were good at, so you can just not think about what to do. But it was also harder because the enemies have a chance to interrupt your attacks, and if they interrupt you and they've messed with your strategy, you have to think of a new strategy on the fly, and I love that. To top it off, this game goes away with the create your own class, pick your own class system, and every character in the game has a specific class that they go through with the entire game. Like Cecil is a Dark Knight Paladin, Rydia is a Summoner White Mage, Teller's the Black Mage, etc., right? So you knew what the characters were good at, and it made it easier to go into battle knowing what every character was good at. There was no guesswork. Oh, I know this guy's good at attacking. I know he's good at tanking, good at magic, whatever it is. It made the combat easier, but also made it harder because you had to think faster and input your commands faster, which I do like. Like I said, I still prefer turn-based, traditional, like Dragon Quest XI, Final Fantasy X, and stuff like that, but this was really good. I enjoyed it. Lastly, you guys know we talk about the music, and I always say in my reviews, I don't pay attention to music that much, and when I find a good soundtrack, I like to point it out. Otherwise, it is what it is. Final Fantasy IV does a pretty damn good job with the soundtrack. It has some really good tracks in there, some memorable songs and stuff I remember. But other than that, it's a pretty basic Final Fantasy soundtrack. It won't top Final Fantasy 13 or 10 in terms of music for me, but it does a good job. And it's not bad enough where I really hate it, like, say, Dragon Quest XI, I'm looking at you. That's awful. I didn't have to mute the game at all. Or the music in the game. I thought it was really good. I thought it did its job, pretty much. Lastly, guys, final thoughts for this game. For the time it came out, I can see why people really loved it. Now, for me, Final Fantasy IV did a great job at building a story and building characters for future titles to enhance and make it even better. And for that, Final Fantasy IV gets a very solid, the best I can possibly give, 6.5 out of 10. And that's it, guys. That's my review of Final Fantasy IV. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more reviews, let's plays, and other JRPG videos. But until next time, stay wicked.